Greetings, citizens of the world. Thank you for joining us on this community call. First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to join this call today and for being a part of this movement. I also want to take a moment to congratulate our DAO founding members, and your support is highly appreciated at the infancy of Sovereign. As many as of you know, we recently concluded our pre-sale, and I want to express my gratitude to all those who participated, who we could not have done it without your support, and we are thrilled to have you as the early adopters of Sovereign's vision. Moving forward, I want to assure you that we are working hard to finalize the report in details and the fund distribution as well. We will be sharing the progress and the updates through our Discord announcements in the future. Once again, I want to thank you for your support and commitment to Sovereign. Together, we will continue to push forward and shape the future of decentralization and execute Sovereign's vision. Without further ado, I will pass it on to JG and for some insights about the last week. JG?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Top. Hope everybody's having a good day. Thank you for joining us. Looks like we got a nice handful of folks here. Also, of course, want to say thank you to everybody, right? Everybody has been an incredible support system in regards to what the meaning of all this is. And this is obviously the first chapter of many. So what I want to do is just recap, right? Some activities so everybody's kind of like caught up to speed, kind of understands the place that we stand in right now, and ultimately how we'll start looking at the next steps. The first thing is that like we've executed a pre-sale, which is essentially a litmus test to sort of understanding, right, what the relationship between us and the audience is, while making sure that we can reward you, right, for being here early, right. And to flash back a little bit, right, I mean, we first opened the Discord, it was literally silent for a week, right. We then started talking for 2 weeks, and within 2 weeks, the hype and the relationship that we've been able to build with you and get excited about what the meaning of all this is, right, all the way to literally launching the update on the website the day of the pre-sale release, right. It was a very sort of like short period of time, right, and for us to be able to curate that with you, right, in that short period of time, I think is a really big success, right. It's very difficult to do that, right, in such a condensed timeline. Now, when we think about, right, those successes, right, I'll walk you through some of them, right, but I also want to sort of like make sure that everybody understands the macro environment of the world, right, and kind of call back to like what the entire sort of common ground that we're all on, right, and the reason that we're here, right. If you looked at last week, right, you had major sort of financial institutions, right, centralized banks that were failing, right. If you look around the world, right, there are constant headlines you're being met with in regards to the failure of quote unquote, right, the state's capability as a centralized counterparty in regards to how it's going to facilitate the needs and the interests, right, of its people. Now, I don't know how many people out there has started touching upon maybe you've started, obviously read the manifesto, right, but maybe you started dipping your toe into the network state, and what you're going to see is that this is ultimately this is all kind of like ammo for exactly what we stand for, right. So because we're saying that, hey, there are these decentralized principles that exist. The world is constantly showing you that the way it's been operating, right, is due for a change. And here comes this technology that allows that, to actually realize itself, and that's a huge thing, right? Because we're talking about the changes of all different types of crazy systems that have existed, for decades and decades and decades. So not only are we, sort of like entering the first chapter of our book and kind of how that's going to be written. But the world, right, is also sort of entering a major chapter change in regards to its, operation and how it operates entities and the expectations of its citizens and relationships to some of these entities, right? So it's very interesting timing, right? And hopefully everybody's kind of picking up on that, because I think it's really critical, to our mission. Now, in regards to the pre-sale itself, right? Just to rehash, right? I think everybody kind of gets the gist at this point, but that is a membership token to a DAO ecosystem of which we will constantly release more documentation and information about. Is the introduction of you to that, right, at a discount, right, based on what the sort of future public on sale will look like, which also more details to come. And this drop, right, this airdrop of a token that represents our ecosystem as we start releasing, right, all this information about, what a proper DAO and decentralized contribution ecosystem actually looks like. Now, what I just said, I think to several people, right, will probably be like, I don't know what the fuck he just said, right? But at the same time, right, there's a reason, why you're here, and you're here because ultimately that sentence that I said prior in regards to the current way things are operated, and we have to take responsibility there, right, based on what's the sophistication of our audience? What do they know, right, about the worlds that we want to curate with you, right? And how do we essentially lead you, right, into, these experiences, so you have a chance to kind of really start understanding what they are. Is it really an NFT with great art, and that's kind of where it ends? Not really, right? There's kind of more that comes, into play there. Is the entire sort of position of a decentralized organization, just a marketing term? No, not really, right? You're actually, looking at the next evolution of a brand that was a founding father of decentralized principles for over 20 years, right? So we've built this ground floor of a brand, right? We've released documentation on what that brand, means. Definitely get on the website and take that experience if you haven't yet, but there is going to be a constant evolution of information that's being presented to you, right? We've revamped sort of social channels, right? Which will, again, it'll take another step, right? Based on who we need to be today to get to where we need to go tomorrow. We're positioning the sort of messaging, right, to the core anonymous audiences so they understand what our purpose is, right? Our purpose is not to sort of stoke the over-politicized, sort of polarized world. Our purpose is to actually give you a message of unity so you can actually come together, right, and learn how to work together based on all of these new tools that are in the world, right, for us to use, right, to solve old problems, right? We've built a Discord server of over 7,500, right? We've got a 1K pre-sale under our belt, right? That's 50% allocated, and for us, that's a great result, because that shows us that even when people, might not understand the underlying blockchain technology associated to a non-transferable pre-sale asset, they're still really excited because they want to attach themselves to the meaning and the purpose of why we're here. That's ultimately what matters, right? So as we get into this sort of next stage and we think about ultimately these steps that we're going to take that, have to be strategic, right? You have to be really smart on kind of how you're courting people, right? Through this process, and what you're educating them with. I actually think it's a great opportunity to turn it over to Alexa, because she's really going to be a very strong voice for you on kind of what these steps mean, right? And then ultimately how they play in to the way we'll operate in the future. So Lex, if you want to hit it from there, please, by all means.
Thanks. And hi, everyone, again. It's great to see you again on this community call. And this past weekend, I really enjoyed all the chat and all the fun we had. And I would also like to thank you for your continuous support. And you really, really did a lot over the weekend when you started retweeting, liking, and generally supporting what project is looking to build. And many of you ask, what are the ways how you can support a project, right? If you did not buy an NFT, can you do something else? Of course you can, right? So we are building a decentralized, inclusive environment that aims to support individual community members, individual contributors, and what we want to do is make you feel like home, like I think some of you already do. And you can support, I mean, just retweeting, liking, commenting on the post, spreading the word. That does a lot. It helps us get reach. It helps us push that Twitter algo and on other platforms that we will have. And that's what the community support is. So we work together towards projects future and towards and we build it together. And of course, if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to ask. We opened the Learn channel, and I hope you grabbed your role in the React for Role channel. So basically, we implemented that role so I can tag you without actually tagging everyone and being quite annoying about it. So you will have daily updates there. I cannot promise the exact times, but every day we will have different posts. And if you have any specific topics that you would like to learn about, just hit me in the general and say like, hey, can you teach us about this and that? And I hope that soon we will also have some voting function where you can, I don't know, for example, we want to learn about metaverse, let's say. And then the community votes and we start doing a session on metaverse, for example, or anything else. So again, let me know if you have any questions in the general. We are here to help. You can open support tickets as well. Just do not overdo it, please. We can use the general for questions so others can learn as well. And that's it from me. And let's move to the questions. So please feel free to raise your hand and I will bring you up to the stage. Okay, so let's start with our OG. Hello, Albert.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I've been here since day one of Anon Token, and I was the second one to buy the number 2 White Rabbit. Thank you very much for this this project and even this community. But what concerns me, being a while around, I've seen so many projects that right after a pre-sale or right after a project launch, they forgot about these calls that we are holding today. So what I want in this call for everybody in the audience of Sovereign and Anon Token, which Anon is for people and with people, we want to promise from all 3 of you that we will keep this community call maybe not once a week, but at least twice a month, even after the project is launched. So there is no question here. It's just maybe a request for all of us.
So when it comes to these community calls, so they are they're on a weekly basis. Sometimes we'll have more updates. Sometimes we will not have as many updates, but we'll definitely open the floor for community questions and the feedback. And each stage of the project will have different points discussed, right? So during in the past month, we were getting to know each other. Now we have the pre-sale, and now and soon we will publish more of a roadmap and future plans, which of course will be open to community feedback. And we need it to hear what you think, to learn from you, and based on that, adjust and improve. But these weekly calls will be continuous for sure, so that will not change if we did pre-sale or drop or token launch, right? So that does not affect the schedule that we will have and this ability to have a direct communication with the community, and of course you with us.
Well, thank you very much. I hope it will be something great even in some years from now.
Thank you, and thank you for Thank you too, and thank you for being a supporter, like from the very first initiation of the Anon token, and with the second bunny as well. We're super happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. So let's go to our server booster. Here. Sorry, I might not be pronouncing that well.
All right. Hey there. So my question is, what are we looking at in terms of exposure? What ways are we thinking of doing this? I'm not very concerned about it. It's just curiosity.
Yeah, sure. JD, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's actually one that's extremely timely, right? So there are essentially, I don't know, I would say probably 2 to 3 core audiences that are in most, Web3 crypto sort of blockchain related projects, NFT related projects, right? And some are positioned based on let's call it the speculation of the assets, right? And some are positioned in regards to their interest, right, of the mission, right? What you've seen in our server to date is really call upon the sort of like the first degree circles of the core supporters of the Anon circles, right, as the first wave. And they're here to sort of build up this core because if you go back to the top of my conversation, right, there is a very strong mission-based component on what we're trying to accomplish here, right? If this was a degen project with, a 0.01 mint, right, where the only thing we wanted to do is facilitate as much secondary market trading of the asset as we possibly can, there would be you'd see very different assets, very different language, right? Very different, words, content, and so on and so forth, right? So the next step that we have to take there is that we're going to sort of refine that outbound messaging, right? Dig, into this, the association of a membership, right, to what this mission is, right? Build more sequences around, right, courting that core audience that does believe in that, right? That's how they live. They're very, very interested in what the evolution of decentralized principles and organization is going to look and feel like, right? And what we essentially will see, right, at some point is this other audience, right, that'll be alongside us, right, and that is the audience that will look at the NFTs and the future token, right, as speculative assets, right, and this will go out to sort of like everybody. The more sort of committed, focused, right, and sort of let's call it kind of loud and proud you are about that mission associated to that particular asset, the more your voice is going to mean, right, in parallel to people that may not really give a shit, why you're here, right? So it's a really, really strong component. It is something that we haven't seen yet because it's not here, but it is something that will develop over time, right? Because people will speculate on digital assets and whether or not there's a short-term financial gain in it for them. So we have to think about what the next position of the brand is going to be there based on who we want, right, to be here to sort of take these next steps with us. Because specifically, right, this is an NFT project that isn't, right, that is positioning itself, right, as a DAO membership token. Right? So obviously who holds those tokens and to be future contributors of our ecosystem is critical, right, to the success of the DAO itself. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that makes sense because, I already figured that the anonymous group pages and other social media were enough of a statement in itself, so.
It's just, I would say, yeah, it's sort of like your first call, right? You know what I mean? So you take your first call to the people that believe in why you exist and what you do in order to start the nucleus, right, of, let's call it commitment, you know what I mean? Because that is essentially what you're, the boat that you're trying to sail. You are trying to essentially sail a DAO, right? That needs to sort of float, right? As, as this centralized community makes decisions on where it's going. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Of course, anytime.
Vernola. Feel free, guys, to raise your hands if you have any questions, I'll bring you up.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Just wanted to thank you guys for all the work that you guys were constantly doing on the fly over the weekend. It was fun to watch us seagulls chiming in for the link all day on Friday, and it was awesome to see how everybody got to participate in there. I'm more one just to shout some acknowledgement for that. I liked Albert's question at the beginning there, and just hoping that this is going to be a continuous thing.
Granola?
Somebody who's not super tech savvy. Yeah?
Okay, sorry, Discord is rugging you a bit. Can you just please repeat your last two sentences?
I wanted to second the sentiment of Albert that the community aspect and the connectivity of us all is very important to me, and it'll also help me keep in the loop of what we're doing moving forward. As somebody who is not very tech savvy, the community aspect and the reason that we're all here is much more important than necessarily what I can accomplish with the technology, but I'm happy to learn. And so thanks. I'm looking forward to participating in the learning channel more as well. Pardon my more statement than question about the situation.
Thank you so much. It was real fun talking to you over the weekend in the general chat and with all the other amazing members. And your feedback is extremely valuable, right? So if there is something that you would like to see more or less, and if there are any specifics that you would like to learn about, please feel free to share that with us and to see how we can accommodate that.
Thank you very much. I'll hit you up in the general.
Sorry, it's rugging you a bit.
My apologies. I was just saying I will take you up on that in general chat with some better questions. I'm happy to step down.
And I'm very happy to hear them. No worries, Discord is kind of shit in general also. Too. Thank you. Okay, so let's see, do we have anyone else? I did see my G cat sign raise her hand, and we have one more. Okay, here we go. Can you hear us, Cat?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. By the way, Top told me he's hungry before this call, so might be the time.
Don't get me started, okay? I'm supposed to speak clearly. I'm gonna start getting jumbled over my words, all nervous. But I have
no worries, girl. I got your back.
Right? I'm already thinking it was at 9:00, and I'm oh my gosh, they're gonna be so mad at me. I missed it, and perfect timing at 10 when I logged in. It was perfect timing. But 4% that I have on my phone, gotta get it going. So it said a build together project. Yeah, Oh, okay. Language barriers. I was kind of wondering about that. So that everybody feels understood and heard and able to put their input, because I feel a lot of people not lurk on the chats, but they don't really feel like they can be a part of the crew that talk often or, fellowship together. And I want to kind of work on breaking that barrier. So it may not just be language barriers, but I feel that's a start. Do we have any kind of ideas or solutions to that? I've seen the translation thing come up, and that was new, but I just feel people are still in the background, just kind of watching. And, I want them to tune in, to join in and know that they're a part of it and their voice matters as well, because isn't that the whole point of what we're doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you make a great point. And we were looking into, I was looking, what can we do to make these, for example, community calls more accessible? So we had an idea to use, translator, but then the problem is that we cannot really guarantee what the translator is going to translate, especially since some terms are very new and it's a bit risky to use, I don't know, words like
Right.
DAO, Web3,
Not to
you
interrupt.
know. Yeah, and also using some AI, like AI note takers, right? They do the transcription, live transcription. I use them for meetings, and dear Lord, what I get there. So, if on that side, it's really risky to use them. And we installed the translator bot to help facilitate the list a bit. But if anyone from the community has any ideas on how we can address that, like, we would be more than happy to hear. And if you have any ideas on how we can,
Because I still have 3%. So if I could, because even if I get cut out, of course I would want you guys to continue, like, all the way. But like even if it's not translated, because it's not like we all don't know how to go translate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we could also be learning languages, in a way, and then they would feel more comfortable as their authentic self and other people with the same language. It's kind of like it doesn't always have to just be boring old English. But you know what I'm saying? Like kind of just like an effort towards respecting, everybody's language, and other people could say, hey, I speak that, or does it make sense what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to rush because of this battery, but I feel like
tell me, do you have any, do you have any ideas? Is that something that you would like to work on?
Well, that's like, I guess that's my idea. It's like, if we don't necessarily need to worry about translating it, that people just type in their own language and speak in their, genuine language as their genuine self. And, we put in the effort to translate what we want, or, we learn as we go. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Like, it includes them as their authentic self, and then other people can say, hey, there's a space for me because you speak what I speak.
That's what I was just about to speak to. Hi, Kat. How are you?
Hi. Hello.
Hope you're having a lovely day.
I need a charge. I need a catch.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. It's a really good point, and what other servers typically do, right, is they start polling where people are from the world, what languages they speak, and do open up segmented channels for that language to be shared. So I think you'll see a lot of evolution there, and people will be able to sort of like find their comfortable sort of like vibes in other places, But it's just now that the pre-sale is done, we'll start taking more steps with the server in regards to different experiences all across the board.
Yeah, and like, I was thinking also to get people more engaged and to know, like, no matter what answer or question or whatever, you don't have to sit behind the scenes and just say you're part of it. Like, be a part of the conversations and the chats. There's plenty of times that I'm like, did I just say that out loud? As embarrassing as it may feel, it's relieving. To still at the end of the day feel community and acceptance. And so it's definitely helped me some, that I want other people to really know that, they're special too. And maybe like a weekly question or like a daily question, or, like a best GIF of the day, like that, when Top Light came on and said, this wins the GIF of the day. And then, oh my goodness, Ali with that, with the GIF for me and Anon, that was really cool. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the cat lurking in the cabinet was nice. So it's like something like that, just something engaging that people, they could, I don't know, like I want to see some more of our followers engage. It kind of made me feel some type of way that somebody said, feels that I'm famous in the chat or something, when it's like, man, like we all are, like this is the community, and I want them to feel involved as well, like.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lex.
No, I just said, like, you want to say, like, that's a great point. And, if there's something that you're passionate about and something that you would like to build within this community, let's chat about it and see how we can support you and others who would like to get involved.
Yeah, because I feel like that is what this community is. It's, what I've recognized for me, as far as like what's helped with me, just like, man, I really feel community here, And so I see a lot of names and they're interesting. Like I was glad to see Omega, I think it said Omegatron yesterday. Like I was like, oh, I was looking through the names. I'm like, oh, that's a cool name. I wonder if he's Omega Sci-Fi, So It's just, I think we could. Yeah, I would love to start talking with you about that. Oh, and let me see. Okay, second audience. I remember, JG, you said something about a second audience that'll like see were you talking about the NFTs?
Yeah, in general, right? We're an NFT project, right? Positioning it as a membership token to a DAO ecosystem, right? So as we sort of stood up this first chapter.
Wait, slow that down. An NFT project, and then you said
the NFT is a membership token, right? To
member.
DAO, right?
Got it.
Now it's a non-transferable token, which means you can't buy and sell it on secondary markets. Right now, it's just it's a placeholder to reserve, right, your future airdrop and your discount to the public mint. But the actual NFT itself, right, when it's airdrop, not the pre-sale token, that'll be an NFT that can get bought and sold, right, on secondary markets, right? So
I was definitely gonna be like, anybody want to drop that? I will take it. I will take it gladly. So I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking. Just to that other audience, right, that might not be associated to the mission, but is associated to the buying and selling of the asset. That's what I was highlighting.
Got it. Okay, great. Got it.
Of course.
And then also for our artists, we have a lot of like creative people minds and all types of ways, but there's a lot of artists that maybe I don't know about the Virtuin and his people are protective of their heart, like protect your heart, you know what I'm saying? But like I wonder if there could be like, a collective of artists that could, be making some of the inputs on something, or I don't know, like merch, that crop top with nice stickers, I heard. Okay, great.
Yeah, so the whole idea here is like to understand where, what passion the community members have and what they want to do within the community, right? To design, right? So we create the space for you to do the design and, support initiatives within the DAO. If you're passionate about a specific social impact, what we want to do is to support you in working on that initiative. So it's not, it's not concentrated on, what, this team can do is actually what the community can do and what we can give you as tools to empower you to do that.
Okay. Got it. I really enjoy this talk, given some information.
Likewise. Thank you for coming on.
So yeah, I appreciate it. I'm like, let me unwave. I'm like, okay, fine. She's talking to me. Like, and then you said, I know I saw a cat, so I'm like, yep, that's me. But I couldn't hide.
I'd love to have you here on the stage. So just come on.
Down and breathe because I was already like freaking out that I missed it. So, but I didn't, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, well, to everybody that's here, meow. I'm here and you are here, so it's nice to be here together. And I look forward to everything as usual.
Likewise. Thanks a lot.
Oh, Tabla, what kind of bread do you like?
Italian.
Oh, okay. I got that. Okay.
Goes well with mine.
Sounds good. Italian cat. We got them for you. All right. So.
Cool.
Let me see. This little girl's like looking at me, so curious. She's so gorgeous. She's like looking into my whole face. Wow, I just got like visually channeled through a kid. That was great. All right.
I
feel better. Yeah, I look forward to more of these. And whenever you're ready to talk about whatever it was, I'm like, we accomplished it. Now breathe. So yeah, I look forward to building some community within the world that actually loves each other, because I love you guys.
We love you too. It's great to have you here.
Cool.
Like, okay. Well, peace.
Thank you, Ted. Talk to you. Thanks.
No.
Let's go to Savage Rose.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello there.
Oh, you better not cry. I will throw you across the room.
I hope my service is working and my speaker doesn't work when I'm talking, so I can't hear what you really respond with. But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. I've always thought we needed more community. And so to have this community to have friendships and grow with and see change and know that change can and will come is just really invigorating for my hope. And like, I've been dealing with some things. So going through those, I've had a ton of support and outreach, and it's just been amazing to finally feel like I belong somewhere. And that's about it.
We're very happy to have you here.
Thank you. I've seen some other hands up, so you can go to whoever's next.
Top, did you want to add something?
I wanted to, I mean, thank you. I mean, if I spell your name correctly, Savage.
Savage Rose.
Savage Roses. Yeah. I mean, thank you for being very active on the chat. Hello.
Yeah, I think she got rugged. She said that she had some network connections.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine. Moving on to next.
Okay, so we have our founding member who is actually preparing the money for lunch.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, is the rabbit alive?
Rabbit, I didn't eat it yet, eh?
Oh, okay, good. There is hope for us. Okay.
So my question is, I think when I look at my friends group and my family, people around me, there are a lot of people who actually share the same vision, like we do, to change the world. But they're not into crypto and NFTs. And when I try to tell them about crypto or NFTs, they oh no, that's nothing for me, this and that. But I was just wondering, how can we bring the non-crypto, non-NFT people who share the same vision into this community? That's I believe there are a lot of people like us, but who are not into this space yet.
Well, they do not need to be in the space, to be here. Like, they do not need to be into crypto and Web3. What matters is to be in the mission and to share the same values, and that's the most important. And once people that still don't really get the Web3 in general, it takes a bit time in education, right? Education is the key. So coming in, having fun with the community, come on community calls, go on Twitter Spaces, learn by listening, learn by chatting with others. And that's how you kind of move that line and bring this closer to people who are just like, crypto, not for me. NFTs, not really. So it just takes time, right? Like, it takes time, a different approach.
Yes, I understand.
I'll just add a bit more as well. Remember when computers were first introduced, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people who adopted this technology moved ahead or learned new skills, isn't it? So people, those who did not adopt to the skills, they are still on the same daily life. Did their knowledge change? I don't think so. Did they get more skills? I don't know. I mean, if they could adopt the technology and make it useful for them and do some research on it, I think it could be more useful for them. Correct. At the end, it all comes down to from our project's perspective, we do not want to look like a convincing salesperson who wants to go knock in everyone's door and then try to make them join our project or join our movement. It's all discretionary to the people who are trying to join from their heart and not from like persuasion from other people. Yeah, that's it, to be honest. I mean, if you are trying to persuade someone in your family, in your friends, make sure that you give them the dosage of knowledge first before you try to convince them, which will give them knowledge first before they put their dollars, put their money into something, some assets they don't trust about or don't know something about. They could when you give them the knowledge, they'll understand this asset, understand this community, understand what is the work around of this community. Just giving them blank information of like, go buy this NFT. It will not help them. It will not convert them. It will not make it. It will not convince them. You get it?
Yes, I understand. But when I look at my niece, for example, she goes to Brussels in the street to demonstrate against how it's going in the world now. I believe she would, for example, fit perfectly in this community. But how must I say? There are a lot of people who share the same vision, and I think we need everyone who shares this vision to be one. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
Make a change in the
One
world.
voice. Yeah,
Yes,
one
yes.
voice. I mean, that is the vision of Sovereign. That is the vision of, I mean,
Yes.
our
We must all stand up
everyone that is
to
involved.
to make a change. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Next one, please.
Thank you, and keep that rabbit safe, please. Okay, let's go to Jay, who is sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
First time here in speaking. Very grateful for it. My question is the pre-sale tokens you could buy from 1 to 3. If you bought 3, do you have like 3 individual voting power? And the other question is that pre-sale token, when you airdrop, you're gonna airdrop the NFT.
So the 3 NFTs, to start with the first one. So the 3 NFTs will grant you the additional token airdrop, right? Of the Sovereign token. And so now you're basically holding the spot of the NFT that you got for a discounted price, and that guarantees the Sovereign token airdrop when we launch it. And when we do the public launch of the NFT, then you will get the actual NFT in your wallet.
So it's gonna be a discount on the NFT plus some tokens.
Yeah. So like you bought the NFT and you bought it the discounted price, and that also guarantees you the Sovereign token airdrop. And if you got 3, so you will get more to the Sovereign token airdrop, and you will have the NFT in the wallet once you launch.
Okay, so the NFT is there in the token, or am I gonna pay more to get the NFT?
No, you don't need to pay more to get the NFT. No, you reserve the spot, right? So you paid for the stop echo, please. And so you got the.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can add as well. I can clarify as well. I mean, a little bit more if after you finish.
It just like you don't need to pay anymore, right? Like so you paid for the NFT, and you will get that NFT when there is a public launch. And also the Sovereign token airdrop it's an airdrop, right? Which means free tokens, basically. And the sovereign tokens are the ones that grant you that actually have the voting power.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Sure. Pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Always. Mendelbrot.
How you doing, everyone?
Hello. Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, doing good. So I have a two-part question. So I was seeing that we're expecting the token drop at NFT collection somewhere in the summer of 2023. I was hoping if you can elaborate if it'll probably be Q2, which are kind of going to summer, or we're looking into Q3 this year for when that is. And the second part to that question is, what kind of marketing strategies are you guys going to be doing over the next couple months to be onboarding more people, getting more exposure to the project, and just getting it out there so more people are aware of it, building up hype?
Yes. I will pass on the question to JG. And before I do that, can you please repeat your first question, because the sound was a bit off and I couldn't clearly understand you.
So I was wondering, are we looking more into Q2 or Q3 for the NFT collection and token airdrop?
So when it comes to the roadmap and timeline, to be very honest with you, is that we will update the community as we're short deadlines, because we want to hold to what we say, and so this very specific moment, we don't have a specific date, but we will definitely come to the community and share with you that a roadmap that we have planned.
You want me to take the marketing question?
Yes, please. Sorry, I'm confused by parts.
Oh, no problem. So yeah, I mean, Rob, nice to meet you, by the way. Thank you for stepping up. Yeah, you'll definitely get a lot more information in regards to, documentation as far as timing and the association of that timing to various, perks, right, that will continuously expand on, right? In regards to the marketing question, so it's a very good one. And I think we're, now that we sort of have this litmus, test, with the sort of first degree audience, right, and our first sort of core nucleus, I think you're going to see two sort of sides, right, of the puzzle. On one particular side, right, we're going to start sort of having a more regular courting of the pre-existent sort of a non-fan, right? I think that is one that we've tested and we've poked at, and a lot of you have gotten here through those channels, right? But now it's also time to sort of make sure that there's an actual sort of depth to the content there, right? They kind of, you've perked the curiosity. Who are you? What are you talking about? What is Sovereign and what's their association to Anonymous? That's sort of the first hair trigger. But now you actually have to sort of engage them, right, through richer content, right, through richer words that kind of really start sharing, a lot of the things that we've talked about prior, on this call, the things that we all believe in. And what you're going to find there, I think, is getting them here in regards to the Discord server to participate in the community is that's not sort of a difficult jump, right? We had one particular day where one message, ended up with a 1,500 person increase, right, in literally one post, so that jump, I don't think is the challenge. The challenge is going to be how to sort of make sure that there's an opportunity for that audience to learn, right, about the principles of what this means and what, the modern architecture of these technologies, could actually support based on what they believe in. I think that's a really big piece, and I think a lot of that will, of course, come through, different educational experiences that you'll start to see, in the Learn channel. Now, on the other side, you've got a completely different persona, right? And we haven't touched it. And so the Web3 audience, the NFT-related audience, right? That entire sphere, right? I think, primarily lives a lot on, alpha giveaways, memes and gift culture, right? That really has to sort of ramp up in a significant amount of, frequency, right? And ultimately the dot that you really want to sort of like connect there, and this is, a multi-channel strategy. You got to exist in press, you got to exist in socials, right? You have to exist in a newsletter, right? Like all these places have to start, taking their next steps into how they formulate that message. But as you cross-pollinate that purpose, right? This is why we exist. This is, the founding fathers of decentralized principles are formulating, this plan. We're releasing more documentation. The interesting thing I think you'll find is that there's a lot of people on the other side of that aisle, right? That buy and sell NFTs that believe in a lot of the things that we believe in, but they don't even know about it yet, right? And they don't know essentially not only who you are, what you do, and what your intentions might be, but how they can actually be additive to that, And that's a courting process. So it's a very like hard and fast sort of like, immediate recognition. You have to bring recognition to the actual brand and its purpose, right? Which is mostly about frequency. But then, converting that frequency to actual intrigue that leads right to more members is obviously, where the waterfall becomes much richer, right? And for us, it's, it has to be based on the why, right? You don't buy something because of what it is. You buy something because, why it exists, right? So we have to all of us, right? It's not just us, right? It's the entire community have to become very resonant, right? In regards to who you are, what you care about, where you're sharing that. So in fact, people that do share, I think this goes back, to Kat's, note. I want to be in a place where I feel accepted. I want to be in a place where I can connect with other people that believe what I believe. I want them to sort of have accessibility in regards to their native language. Well, that means we have to share that, right? We have to share that actively because that is essentially the glue that will sort of like, the birds of a feather thing, right? So we've got a lot of really great input from this first, let's call it, 3-week hustle around, initially just dipping our toe in the water. But now it's going to be much more deliberate in regards to, okay, we know this persona over here, we know that persona over there. How are you actually going to address them? And you're essentially just doing so with as much frequency as you possibly can across as much channels as you can approach to sort of really dig into that common denominator, because there is, right? There are people that are, invested in crypto, Web3 related assets and do in fact care about decentralized principles, right? Now it's just overlapping them to go get that person and tell them to come here. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I understand. I just know, as far as the NFT goes, I believe in the project. I did the learn. I got my role. I've read everything up on it. When I joined the project, I actually found it through Facebook. Could you believe it? Yeah, I'm a boomer. But I spoke about it in a couple of like other alpha groups and stuff, and some people didn't even know about it. And they're like, "Are you sure this is like connected with not?" Somebody was calling me. So, I showed some people. I was like, "Yeah, it's connected with Anonymous," and then they did their research and like, "Oh yeah, it is." So I got a couple people in from some like really respected alpha groups, but they just were like unaware of the project before I actually showed it to them. So I guess that was the big thing was just making sure that just the exposure is there, that people are actually aware of the project, because Anonymous is a big brand. It's it's really popular with the younger generation. A lot of people really like and support the group. So I guess it's just making people aware that hey, they're here, they have a project if you guys want to be involved. So that's all I just really wanted to see, and I liked your answer and stuff. So I just look forward to seeing the community grow and more people coming in, because ultimately even our secondary sales with royalties and everything like that, there's so many things that's gonna further the DAO. It's gonna be more community funds that's gonna benefit us all in the long run. So I bought 3 pre-sale tokens, so I'm looking forward to the future with you guys. So I just wanted to check on that, but thank you. I do like your answer. I appreciate it.
No problem. And you're spot on, by the way, right? It's a amplification in regards to why we exist, and making sure that other people that believe in the same thing can come here is definitely a major piece of the next step.
Excellent. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have one more. IML?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome on stage.
Okay. Well, first of all, very big shout out to the team to accomplish, so far in this short time. And second of all, I wanted to add something. A few speakers ago, there was a question about the weekly chats we have, and the concerns that it would fade away. It's all about the community and the DAO. When there is something you don't like, you can bring it up, and you can vote for it. And I think that's the most important thing about the community and the DAO. We can do this with every one of us, and if we stand up for it, you can make big things happen. Furthermore, there was also a question. What was it? It was also a few speakers ago. Let me think. It was all about the DAO. The point that a lot of people should come to our community, but doesn't they aren't aware of it, and they stand far from blockchain and things. The problem with that, it's not really a problem, but blockchains and DAOs, we are only at the beginning. It's like the first steps from internet. At that point, we are with blockchain and DAOs, I think. So we have a long way to go, and there will be lots of time that people can join us, I think. So that I wanted to share with you.
Thank you. And you're 100% right? So this is a community-based environment, and if there are any things that you would like to see more or less, and if you have any feedback, comments, that's kind of how this works. Decentralized autonomous organizations are built by the communities for the communities, and that's what really matters, and your voice matters here. And I do understand that, we all come, right, like from a Web2 environment, and that we're used to a very specific way of how we work, feel, or seen, etc. And it's a lot different than how this space works. And as you read in the manifesto, like, the DAO empowers the voice of many rather than those of few. And that's something that we are building here. And the fact is also that we cannot build that without the community. We cannot be building a community-based organization if the community itself is not involved in that process. And and there are different ways how you can get involved, right? So you can come on community calls, hang out in chats, come to Twitter Spaces, again, like retweet. That really does a lot, I think, more than you're aware. And getting involved in the initiatives, like, for example, the one that Sign brought up. That could be like one of the first things that we are doing here as a way to bridge that gap and support more people and help them get involved in what we're doing here. So it's a pretty open space, and built that way so it can empower each and every individual and what they care about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, what GetSign, the different languages, what I think it's very important is the learning part, just the basic understanding of blockchains, some glossary, I think. If you hear something, you can look it up and you know where they are talking about. and of course, yeah, some merchandising. That's really a great part we can do a lot with.
Agree. And of course, like it takes time to learn because it's so new and so different. And for that reason, we opened the Learn channel. So you just get the role and get a notification when I post something there. And then move on to the general to ask any questions that you have, or maybe, discussion, more clarification, because that's the learning process. It takes time. It can be a bit pain in the ass, fact, but it's a process that we just need to go through. Okay. Do you have anything else, please, to ask or add?
No, not for now.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on. And
Yes, thank you.
I opened this for our Sovereign soup. Oh, here it comes. And unfortunately, guys, we'll have to close after this one. But if you have any follow-up questions, please do feel free to ask them in the general. So, soup of the Sovereign, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes, wow, what kind of, you have some really cool PFP there.
I'm driving, so it's my phone, and all that. So I have 2 quick questions. Hopefully they can be answered pretty quickly, if that's okay.
Sure. Okay.
All right, so I've been reading I'm pretty new on NFTs and the whole blockchain kind of network and all that. The only big thing that I have really is what are y'all's, or what is going to be the kind of rules and regulations regarding the ownership / like transfers of the NFTs once they are released to the public?
So I assume that you're referring to the governance of the DAO. And that's something that I'm currently working on, and that will actually be posted for the community feedback, since the point of the governance is to govern the project and the community. And it's important that it's tailor-made, but it's also important that is accepted and respected and followed by the community, because that allows us to build and organize the organization that will allow us to move forward and scale. And those are the details that will come very soon. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. And also, I know, I know kind of the general incentives for people who have purchased and hold the NFTs. But are there any more that are being worked up that you can talk about? Or is it just kind of to get the community to, have their own, votes on things, and, the creatives, because I'm a creative myself. I'm a designer for work. So I just kind of trying to wonder or figure what's going to happen, besides just the voting, and what does the creative power entail? Generally, I guess.
In terms of the additional utilities of the NFTs, we have several in store. So, to that I can currently tell you. And in terms of what would be the pretty part, that's something that actually we're going to be building together, to be honest, right? Because that will a lot depend on the community feedback, the community input, and what the skills of the communities are, and how they want to get involved. So it's important to understand that we kind of set the foundations, but that gets developed by the community, and the community plays a very, very, very important role in all of that. And it's work in progress, and it takes a lot of time, and many failed attempts, and then you get a huge win, and that's how you grow, learn, and build and improve. So again, like that's something that we'll build with you, and also see what community feedback is.
Okay. And a question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, Subi, I really like your name though.
Has
thanks.
I
appreciate it.
Cool. Let's say if you want to add anything, and then I will add on top of it.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, you've said about what a creative person can do for the project. So imagine this: you are a creative person. I'm not sure what your creative talents are. Do you mind sharing so that I can give you an example?
Yeah, so I'm a designer, a graphics designer. So I have experience in advertising, marketing, logos, branding. Full scale, pretty much anything to do with designing besides like boxes and cups.
Cool. Yeah. So imagine this: in a DAO system, you are trying to work for the DAO, and you might need funding to let's say you want to print something for yourself, or not for yourself as to be exactly. I mean, you want to print something that you have worked on for Sovereign to push marketing material, or like to push any sort of creating materials to public. So you might need funding for that. So since you are working for the DAO, the community members can agree to your proposal that you are working on something and you will need funding for this. So this is how you can contribute to the DAO, and then get opinions from everyone, and then people can agree to you or disagree to you, or you can redo your proposal to make it more to make it more better for pushing the community to the external communities. I mean, that is how it works from the creative perspective.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of helps me understand that a little bit more. Because, like I said, I'm new to all this kind of stuff. So, I'm young, but I don't have any of that like NFT knowledge, blockchain knowledge, DAO knowledge, like any of that. Like I just I work, and that's about it. So learning about this, I feel like is going to help a lot.
Cool.
with that.
Yeah. So I mean, from since we are an impact DAO, so what example I just gave you, DAO Alexa can correct me or make me tell to me that it's incorrect or wrong. DAO Alexa.
No, I mean, you're completely right. Like, and you can put out the proposal and, and get the community funding for the proposal for the project you want to carry out. And the other option is actually to support the DAO with your design skills and get reported in Sovereign tokens for it, right? So it's basically, like a side gig where you can use your skills to help it build and develop, and also get rewarded for it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, so that's something that would definitely be like we'll be opening as we go, and build that roadmap and start asking people to see like, okay, so guys, like, how do you want to engage? Like, do you want to help us, with social media? Can you help with the design? Maybe some, community help, work on initiatives. So that's how we want to create a space where the community can do what I like and get rewarded for it and enjoy being here.
Okay, I see. And that starts, so that like exact thing right there, like if I was to want to contribute or provide, some of my expertise, when does that start upon public release? Does that start now? Does that start in a different phase?
So, like it will not. It's not really dependent on the. If you're referring to the NFT launch, no, it does not. It's not dependent on it, and depending on the community feedback on what we come with next. I mean, there is already the options that you can literally raise your hands and tell us okay, so I'm good at this. I would like to do this and that, and based on that, we can plan within the theme how we could support you in that.
Okay. So I feel like I learned a lot in this short little time. I do appreciate all of y'all coming out and doing this for the community. It shows that y'all are very, how do I say that? Caring for the community. I'll just put it like that, which I appreciate because I am, like I said, new at all this. So thank y'all for coming in and having me and answering some last minute questions.
Cool.
Of course,
there is a word for it. There is a word for it. The word is called inclusivity.
I appreciate it. Hey, okay.
Cheers.
Question off topic. Top lad for you. It's for you. Can you or can you not disclose if your voice is a voice changer?
It is a voice changer.
Okay. It sounds like one, but it sounds good like one. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming on, Sophie. Okay, amazing. Thank you all guys. We're a bit over the time. Thank you everyone who still stayed on. Top, would you share the closing words?
Sure. Thank you, Alexa. I want to express my gratitude once again. We have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. And it's just the beginning for us. We are building something truly, I mean, it's a truly amazing thing that we are building over here. And with the support of community, I believe the power of decentralized communities to bring about more positive change in the world, and it is exactly what we are going to do with Sovereign, and we're building a community of like-minded individuals who are seeking that difference, and we are a project about making that difference. I also encourage everyone to continue to spread the word for Sovereign and tell people what we are about. Give them the knowledge that we are handing out on our Learn channel, from our manifesto, from our Behind the Curtain NFT paper. Thank you again for being part of this movement. I look forward to continue building the project with you guys and also continuing this journey with you. And at the end, expect us.
Thanks, all. Have a good
Don't cook the rabbit.
day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.